welcome to my channel. This is my first video and I'm gonna teach you how to make some Chinese breakfast pancakes. So here are the basic ingredients. You will need some canola or olive oil, some green onions, extra flour in case to make sure that your dough doesn't stick to the counter. So here is your dough. You will need to make this by adding a ½ cup hot water and 1 cup of flour. So first you need to sprinkle some of the flour onto the board, and if you want, you can use it to spread it out a bit. Okay, so in order to make the flour dough puff up, you should keep it in a container with lid on for at least ½ an hour. So now we're gonna take the knife and we're gonna cut 1/4 or less of the dough. Now we're gonna roll it into a ball and we're gonna put this part of the dough back into the container. And then we're gonna roll it. Make sure that you roll it really nice and thin. Okay, so now that we have the dough ready and pizza flat, you see how thin it is? We are going to be adding the oil. We're going to be adding the oil like this on the tip of a brush that looks like this, a rubber brush. And then you're gonna paint the surface of the dough with the oil. You want a thick amount of layer of the oil so that it won't burn too easily. If you would like to speed things up, you can pour a little of canola oil and just paint it from there. But I like to dip my brush inside the bowl of canola oil and paint it slowly and carefully. Now, when that is done, you can put your brush aside or paint a little extra on the sides, and then you can put some salt on. Okay, so the salt I'm using is Ariston, so I'm just gonna put it like that on.
Could be a little generous.
Could be a little generous and put some more. And then you put a handful or more of green onion on. You can also choose to use sugar instead of salt, and you can also use other things that aren't green onions. There's also a sugar version of this where you can, we'll show you later. You have to put a video on how to make sugars. Okay, so after you did that, you can put another layer of salt if you wish to have a little bit more flavor, but that would be a little too salty for us. So we're just gonna put 1 layer of salt on the bottom, and we're gonna put some green onion on the top. We're also gonna sprinkle some flour on top so inside it doesn't get too sticky. Now when we're done that, we're gonna roll it up. You roll it from the least sticky corner so that it doesn't get messy. Okay, and then you start to roll it. You start to roll it very, very slowly. more flour for the bottom in case it gets too sticky. Rolling it up, we are going to be twirling it in like one of those cinnamon rolls. Now, as it's twirling up, you can just wrap it around in the center, just like that. Can you see? Just like that.
Mama, bring it in. Bring in the camera. You see. Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like this.
So
and
now, you're gonna push down. You're gonna push down to make it nice and flat, just like a pancake, because that's what it is. So when you're rolling it out, it's gonna be feeling a little bit weird,
squishy,
but it feels very satisfying. So then you can roll it out until it's nice and flat. Be sure to sprinkle some of your flour in the bottom so it doesn't stick to the table, because then it gets messy. Anyway, so now that it's this flat, you can follow me to the oven. Follow me to the oven. Okay, so you can follow me to the oven, and you can light up the pan. You put some canola oil or olive oil. We're using canola oil to heat up the pan. We're gonna use that to heat up the pan. Okay, we're gonna use that to heat up the pan. And then we're gonna take, we wait for the pan to heat up, and while we're doing that, we can make sure that there's enough flour on each side of the dough, or should I now say pancake. So now that our pancake is done, we are going to be putting it in the pan. Our pan is nice and hot. We're gonna be putting our pancake into the pan. Okay? And you let it simmer. Like that, just like that. Now, occasionally you'll hear some bubbling, but that should be all right. And sometimes when it gets ready, it's gonna be a golden brown on the other side. And then that means you'll have to flip it over. But of course, ours isn't ready yet. So you'll have to wait about 2 minutes. Okay, so now you can see the sides are kind of a golden color. So then you can decide to flip it over. And once it's flipped over, you can see now it's such a golden color. And then you wait till the other side is done. So at this time, when it's about golden and you can see that the oil is quite brown, you decide to make the temperature a bit lower, like about a low. Okay, so now that the pancake is now done, you can finally remove it and put it onto a cutting board. So you need to put it on the cutting board to let it cool down, and then you can cut it into slices. Just like cutting a pizza. You can cut it into as many pieces as you would like, and however you would like to. So now when it's done cut, these are the slices. And then you can put it back on to a plate. They're very easy to rearrange in case you would like to prepare this for a party. Now here's a version of the sweet pancake after it is done. Now if you wish to use or to make this sugary pancake, then you can follow the exact instructions, except instead of green onion, you can use sugar.